Welcome back, coin hunters. Tonight, we're stepping into the world of a tiny copper legend, the Liberty Wheat Penny, a 1-cent coin that many people overlook, yet collectors quietly chase with excitement. At first glance, it may seem ordinary, just a worn piece of history resting in an old jar or hidden in a drawer. But the moment you look closer, the story begins to unfold. This small coin carries the echo of another era, the weight of decades, and sometimes a spark of unbelievable value. The Liberty Wheat Penny isn't just money, it's a survivor. It has traveled through pockets, cash registers, war years, and changing generations. Each scratch whispers about the hands that once held it, and every faded detail adds mystery. Some of these pennies were struck in limited numbers. Some carry rare mint marks, and others hold tiny errors that turn a simple cent into a collector's treasure. Imagine discovering one in your change, dusty and forgotten, only to realize you're holding something far more powerful than a single cent. The wheat ears on the reverse stand like symbols of history, framing a design that collectors recognize instantly. For some, this coin is nostalgia. For others, it's opportunity. And for a lucky few, it becomes the start of an unforgettable discovery. So before you ignore that old penny, take a closer look. Check the date. Look for the mint mark. Study the color, the shine, the tiny details. Because hidden among ordinary coins, a Liberty Wheat Penny could be waiting, quiet, unassuming, and potentially far more valuable than anyone expects. Stay with us, because in this video we're diving deep into the Liberty Wheat Penny. The rare dates, the hidden signs, and the secrets that can transform a simple 1-cent coin into a collector's dream.
The 1956 D Liberty Wheat Penny enters the stage like a quiet coin with a thunderous secret. At first glance, it looks ordinary, a humble 1-cent piece with the familiar wheat stalks on the reverse and the calm portrait of Liberty facing right. But collectors know that some coins hide explosive value beneath a simple surface, and the 1956 D penny is often whispered about as one of those sleepers. In the right condition, with the right strike, and with the right rare characteristics, this tiny copper disc can transform from pocket change into a treasure that feels almost unreal. When this coin was minted in Denver in 1956, millions were produced, yet not all were created equal. Some emerged with razor-sharp detail, blazing luster, and surfaces so clean they look frozen in time. These exceptional survivors are the ones that ignite excitement. The moment such a coin appears under bright light, its reddish glow flashes like a hidden ember. Collectors chase that fiery red color, because a fully preserved red 1956 D Wheat Penny can command astonishing attention and serious money. The drama deepens when minting anomalies enter the picture. A 1956 D penny with a strong strike, bold lettering, and minimal marks becomes far more than ordinary. If the coin displays unusual die characteristics, slight doubling, or a particularly crisp impression, its desirability climbs rapidly. In the world of coin collecting, perfection is rare, and rarity fuels value. A nearly flawless example begins to feel less like currency and more like a miniature artifact. Imagine discovering one in an old jar, dusty and forgotten, mixed with coins that have long lost their shine. At first, nothing seems special. But then the light hits the surface and the wheat ears glow sharply, the date looks bold, and the D mint mark stands clear and proud beneath the year. That moment is electric. The coin suddenly feels heavier, as if it carries a story that waited decades to be told. Collectors obsess over preservation, and the 1956 D penny rewards that obsession. Coins that escaped circulation and remained untouched develop a blazing red brilliance. These are often described as gem examples. Their surfaces reflect light like polished metal, and their edges appear crisp as if freshly minted. Such coins rarely appear, and when they do, competition intensifies quickly. The excitement grows even more when the coin shows minimal contact marks. Every tiny scratch reduces value, so a nearly flawless 1956 D penny becomes a magnet for serious buyers. When the fields are smooth and the portrait stands clean, the coin looks almost unreal. This level of preservation transforms a simple cent into something collectors consider elite. There is also the emotional pull of history. This coin was minted in the mid-1950s, a time of transformation and optimism. Each 1956 D penny passed through hands that never imagined its future potential. Some bought candy, others rode buses, and a few were quietly saved. The ones that survived untouched feel like frozen moments from another era. Sometimes, collectors search for subtle varieties, slight differences in lettering thickness, spacing, or die polish. These tiny variations can make one coin stand apart for millions. When a rare combination appears, the excitement becomes intense. A coin that looks ordinary to most people suddenly becomes extraordinary to specialists. Condition plays the loudest role in value. A worn 1956 D penny may remain modest, but a pristine one can surge dramatically. The difference between circulated and uncirculated examples is like night and day. One tells a story of use, the other whispers untouched perfection. Collectors chase the latter with relentless determination. The surface color adds another layer of intrigue. Red coins command the highest attention, red-brown examples hold solid interest, and brown coins appeal to those who value history over shine. A fully red 1956 D penny looks like it was struck yesterday, glowing with original brilliance. That glow can send value climbing. Even the strike strength matters. Some 1956 D pennies display softer wheat lines, while others show sharp veins and bold definition. The sharper the strike, the more dramatic the appearance. A crisp wheat design with glowing luster creates a coin that stands out instantly. Collectors often describe rare high-grade 1956 D pennies as sleepers waiting to awaken. When one appears in exceptional grade, bidding can rise quickly. The coin's tiny size contrasts with its potential worth, creating that irresistible feeling that a small object holds enormous power. The idea of unimaginable value comes from these elite examples. When condition, color, strike, and rarity align perfectly, the coin enters a different category. It is no longer judged as common. Instead, it becomes a top-tier survivor, the kind collectors dream about discovering. The thrill intensifies when such a coin appears unexpectedly. A roll search, an inherited collection, or an old envelope can reveal one. That discovery moment feels cinematic, as if fortune suddenly changes direction. A single cent becomes a spotlight. The 1956 D penny also attracts long-term collectors who believe in patience. They understand that value often grows over time. As pristine examples become harder to find, demand strengthens. This slow tightening of supply adds tension to the market. Some collectors store these coins carefully, protecting them from air, moisture, and handling. Preservation becomes part of the journey. The goal is to freeze the coin in time, keeping its glow intact for years or decades. The mystique of the 1956 D penny lies in contrast. It is small, simple, and humble, yet capable of commanding serious attention. That contradiction fuels fascination. A coin once used for everyday purchases now sits behind protective holders, admired like a miniature masterpiece. Stories circulate about collectors who nearly spent rare coins without realizing their potential. That is why enthusiasts often warn against dismissing old pennies. A careful look can reveal hidden value, and the 1956 D is one of those coins that rewards patience. The excitement peaks when imagining the highest grade examples. Perfect surfaces, blazing red color, sharp strike, and untouched luster create a coin that feels almost mythical. These top survivors are scarce and intensely pursued. In the end, the 1956 D Liberty Wheat penny stands as a reminder that value doesn't always announce itself loudly. Sometimes it hides in plain sight, waiting for someone to notice. The moment a 1952 D Liberty Wheat penny appears in the palm of your hand, it feels less like a coin and more like a quiet whisper from history. Its copper surface carries the weight of decades, yet collectors know that hidden within this ordinary-looking penny could be an extraordinary fortune. The Denver mint mark beneath the date is small, but its presence has ignited endless fascination, because certain rare variations from this year have stunned the collecting world with breathtaking value. At first glance, the 1952 D Wheat penny looks simple, humble, almost forgettable. Abraham Lincoln's profile stands calm and dignified, while the wheat stalks on the reverse stretch upward like symbols of growth and prosperity. But this coin hides its power in subtle details, tiny differences in strike, luster, and minting anomalies that can transform a 1-cent coin into a prize hunted by serious collectors. The Denver Mint in 1952 produced millions of pennies, yet not all were created equal. A handful emerged with unusually sharp strikes, glowing surfaces, or rare minting quirks. These are the coins that collectors chase with intensity. When preserved in near-perfect condition, a 1952 D penny becomes more than currency. It becomes a frozen moment of perfection, and perfection is where value explodes. Imagine discovering one in an old jar, a dusty drawer, or tucked inside a forgotten envelope. The coin might appear worn, but if the details remain crisp and the surfaces glow with original color, collectors begin to pay attention. The Lincoln portrait, the lettering, the tiny D mint mark, every element becomes a clue. The closer the coin is to flawless, the louder the whispers of fortune grow. Some of the most valuable examples are those with blazing red copper color. Over time, copper darkens, but a few 1952 D pennies survived with their original fiery glow. These coins shimmer like newly minted treasure, and collectors treat them as rare survivors. Their bright surfaces create the illusion that time never touched them, and that illusion dramatically increases their desirability. Then there are coins with striking errors, slight misalignments, doubled lettering, or unusual die impressions. These tiny imperfections become dramatic signatures of rarity. A double detail or an unusually strong strike can turn an ordinary penny into a collector's dream. These rare variations often trigger bidding battles, pushing prices far beyond what anyone expects from a single cent. Condition plays a powerful role in the story. A heavily circulated coin may only whisper its value, but a nearly untouched specimen roars with potential. Sharp wheat lines, crisp lettering, and smooth fields create a visual impact that collectors instantly recognize. When a 1952 D penny looks almost untouched, its value climbs rapidly. The excitement grows when such a coin appears at auction. Collectors lean forward, watching carefully as bidding begins. What starts as a modest offer can quickly escalate into a dramatic showdown. Each raise signals belief in the coin's rarity, and suddenly the humble penny becomes the center of attention, commanding astonishing numbers. There is also a psychological magnetism attached to this coin. People love the idea that something so small could hold life-changing potential. A 1952 D penny becomes a symbol of hidden wealth, a reminder that treasure doesn't always shine like gold. Sometimes it hides in plain sight, disguised as ordinary pocket change. The texture of the coin itself tells a story. Smooth yet aged, warm yet metallic, it feels like holding a fragment of another era. Collectors often examine the coin under magnification, searching for tiny details invisible to the naked eye. Those microscopic features can separate a common coin from a rare masterpiece. Another reason the 1952 D penny captivates collectors is its survival rate. Many coins from this era were heavily used, scratched, and worn. Finding one that escaped decades of circulation feels almost miraculous. That rarity fuels demand, and demand fuels value. When collectors talk about high-grade examples, the conversation becomes electric. They describe blazing luster, flawless surfaces, and nearly perfect strikes. Such coins are extremely difficult to find, and when they appear, they create excitement that spreads quickly through the collecting community. There's also the emotional thrill of discovery. Imagine flipping through old coins and suddenly noticing the date 1952 with a tiny D. Your heartbeat quickens. You tilt the coin toward the light, checking the shine, the edges, the wheat lines. In that moment, the possibility of hidden value feels very real. Even subtle differences matter. Slightly stronger lettering, deeper wheat lines, or smoother fields can transform perception. Collectors analyze these details carefully, and when everything aligns perfectly, the coin's desirability increases dramatically. The copper composition adds another layer of charm. Unlike modern coins, the 1952 D penny has a richer, warmer tone. This vintage copper glow gives the coin character and depth, making it visually appealing even before considering rarity. Stories circulate among collectors about unexpected finds, coins discovered in inherited collections, flea markets, or forgotten jars. These tales fuel the dream that anyone could stumble upon a valuable 1952 D penny. The possibility keeps people searching. The coin's age also enhances its mystique. Decades have passed since it was minted, yet some examples remain astonishingly well preserved. That survival against time makes them feel special, almost legendary. As interest grows, so does competition. Serious collectors hunt for the finest examples, often waiting years for the right coin. When one finally appears, they move quickly, knowing another opportunity may not come soon. The 1952 D Wheat penny ultimately represents more than monetary value. It symbolizes hidden potential, patience, and the thrill of discovery. A tiny piece of copper becomes a gateway to excitement and possibility. So when you see a 1952 D Liberty Wheat penny, don't dismiss it as ordinary change. Examine it carefully, admire its details, and consider its journey through time. Because sometimes, the smallest coin carries the biggest surprise, and a single cent from 1952 D can feel like holding a quiet promise of unexpected fortune. The 1951 Liberty Wheat penny moves through the world like a quiet legend, a small copper disc that most people would overlook without a second glance. Yet hidden inside this modest 1-cent coin is a story that feels larger than life, a whisper of forgotten minting rooms, spinning presses, and the possibility that something ordinary might secretly be extraordinary. When collectors speak about rare coins that can ignite excitement overnight, the 1951 Wheat penny often enters the conversation like a mystery waiting to be solved. This coin was born in an era when pockets were heavy with change and nobody imagined that decades later, certain pieces would be hunted like buried treasure. The wheat ears on the reverse were simple, elegant, and symbolic, framing the words, 1 cent, with quiet dignity. But within that simplicity lies the possibility that a few coins escape the mint with subtle differences, tiny irregularities that transform an everyday penny into a collector's dream. The phrase, mint mark, becomes the heartbeat of this story. A tiny letter beneath the date, sometimes absent, sometimes marked with a D or S, can change everything. These small letters represent where the coin was struck, and collectors obsess over them because certain combinations are far rarer than others. A 1951 wheat penny with a scarce mint mark and pristine condition can suddenly step out of obscurity and into the spotlight. Condition, however, is where the magic truly unfolds. A coin that has survived untouched, its surfaces glowing with original luster, can feel almost frozen in time. The sharp wheat lines, the bold lettering, and the untouched fields create a visual impact that collectors crave. When a 1951 penny appears like this, it stops being loose change and starts looking like a preserved artifact. Sometimes, the real excitement comes from minting errors. A double design, an off-center strike, or a misaligned impression can create a coin unlike any other. These accidental masterpieces weren't meant to exist, which is exactly why they can command staggering attention. A rare 1951 error coin can transform from a 1-cent piece into something that collectors chase with intense determination. The color of the coin also tells a dramatic story. Some 1951 wheat pennies remain bright red, almost glowing with their original copper brilliance. Others develop deep brown tones that reveal decades of age. But when a coin still shines with that fiery red glow, collectors often see it as a survivor, a piece that escaped time's slow transformation. There is also the thrill of discovery. Many people have found rare coins in old jars, inherited collections, or forgotten drawers. The idea that a 1951 wheat penny could be hiding in plain sight fuels imagination. It's the possibility that keeps collectors searching through rolls of pennies, hoping for that one extraordinary find. The design itself adds to the fascination. The portrait on the front carries a timeless presence, while the wheat stalks on the back evoke an era of simplicity. The balance between these elements creates a coin that feels both historic and artistic. Even without rarity, the coin holds charm, but rarity turns charm into obsession. Auction stories amplify the legend. When a high-grade 1951 wheat penny appears in elite collector circles, excitement spreads quickly. Bidding wars can erupt, with collectors pushing values far beyond what most would expect from a penny. The final hammer price can feel shocking, reinforcing the idea that small coins can carry enormous significance. Collectors often examine the tiniest details, edges, spacing, and lettering alignment. A slight variation may separate a common coin from a scarce one. The thrill lies in the detective work, the careful inspection that might reveal something special. For many, this process is as exciting as the discovery itself. There's also the emotional connection. Coins like the 1951 wheat penny connect people to history. They imagine the hands that once used it, the purchases it may have made, and the decades it traveled before reaching today. That sense of journey adds depth to its value beyond money. The myth of overnight fortune grows from these stories. When someone hears about a rare penny selling for astonishing amounts, imagination takes over. Suddenly, Every 1951 coin feels like a potential jackpot. While not every coin holds extreme value, the possibility keeps the legend alive. Collectors often protect these coins carefully, storing them in holders to preserve their condition. The moment a coin is recognized as rare, it transitions from circulation to preservation. It becomes an object meant to be admired rather than spent. The rarity of top-grade examples adds intensity. Many coins from 1951 were heavily circulated, meaning pristine ones are limited. This scarcity fuels competition, and competition drives value. A nearly perfect specimen can create a dramatic surge in interest. The shine of original mint luster is especially captivating. When light moves across the coin, it creates a subtle glow that collectors describe almost poetically. That glow is a sign the coin hasn't been worn down by years of handling. Another factor is historical context. The early 1950s represented a time of growth and change, and coins from that era carry that atmosphere. Holding a 1951 wheat penny feels like holding a fragment of that moment in history. Even slight differences in strike quality matter. Some coins were struck with sharper detail than others. These stronger strikes often stand out, making collectors willing to pay more for their crisp appearance. The legend continues because people keep searching. Every roll of pennies, every inherited box, every forgotten collection holds possibility. The 1951 wheat penny symbolizes that hope, the belief that something valuable could be hiding in plain sight. Stories of rare finds travel quickly. Someone discovers an unusual 1951 penny, and suddenly interest spreads again. These stories keep the coin alive in collector culture, turning it into more than just currency. In the end, the 1951 Liberty Wheat penny remains a symbol of hidden potential. Most examples are modest, but a rare one, perfectly preserved, uniquely struck, or bearing a special mint mark, can ignite excitement that feels larger than the coin itself. It's this mix of history, rarity, and possibility that transforms a humble 1-cent piece into a legend capable of capturing imaginations overnight.